Murder, She Watched contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Murder, She Watched is for entertainment purposes only. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Murder, She Watched, the podcast where we solve murders from our couches. My name's Amye Archer. I'm your host. I'm here today with one of my favorite people, Tess Brigham from Psych Legal Pop. Hi, Tess.
Hi. This was a good one. I don't think we need to solve anything in this case, unfortunately.
I think it's been solved.
I think it's been solved, people.
Although I think if you and I looked at this, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, we probably could have solved it faster than the police did.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that even in other countries, the police are incompetent.
Yeah. I mean, here we go.
It's not just here. It's not just here in the U.S.
I just can't tell you how many documentaries lately that we're doing Making a Murderer on our Patreon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was in such a rage the other day that during the episode, I got lightheaded. I thought I was going to pass out. So, we're dealing with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we've talked about doing it on Psych Legal Pop. We've talked about like maybe doing it for Patreon and Making a Murder. Like, how would we do it? And every time I think about doing it, I'm like, I don't want to feel that rage that I'm going to feel again. I just can't.
It's the Brendan Dassey of it all. Like Stephen Avery, you can be like, okay, he did throw a cat into a fire. So maybe he did deserve those years in prison that he had, even though he was exonerated by one pubic hair. But Brendan Dassey was 16 years old.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with this. I'm 99% confident.
Yeah.
And is just rotting away in prison.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, even let's just, say maybe he did do it, right? He at least deserves a fair trial. Everybody deserves a fair trial. I think we could say that.
Well, and is he eligible for parole?
Not until 2048.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. Unbelievable.
He'll be in his 50s if he gets paroled.
Yeah.
And he went into prison as 17.
I mean, the other thing too is even if he did do it, his IQ is low enough that you can't, all of it. It's very layered. And I don't know how I do not know how those policemen sleep at night. I'm like, how are you sleeping at night? It's unbelievable. But we're seeing all this with Karen Reed now too.
Well, I was just going to say that it's so interesting, and I bring this up all the time when we're talking about it, is to see all of this through post Karen Reed lens, because it just feels so like I know this has been going on for a very long time, and I want to be clear. Usually, it's one bad apple that's spoiling things, right? There's many police officers who do great work, but it's like those bad apples need to be rooted out. And I think we're finally starting to do that as a country. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and also people are stupid enough to write everything down now and put it on video and text it to somebody thinking like, oh, no one will ever get these text messages. I mean, apparently there's text messages coming out now because Karen Reed is working on her civil case where she's suing the Canton police, where they're all of these back and forth between Proctor and one of the other police officers. I mean, not about Karen Reed, just racist.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So this is another one of those cases where the police missed something big time. And it resulted in another murder.
Yes.
Of a poor mother and a child, like a gruesome murder.
Yes.
So I was enraged. We need to address the elephant in the room. Dad, Andre, did you think he was hot?
Oh,
he's a handsome man.
He is a handsome man. And we meet Alex.
Yeah, Alex, very handsome as well. Is he over 18? Can I say he's handsome?
Yeah. He's got to be in his 30s, 40s now, right?
He's very handsome.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I thought he was cute, and I think I felt for him. I felt for the father. This is
it was the whole
awful situation.
It was the whole vibe of the father, right? Like that made him adorable is how dedicated he was to keeping Rachel's memory alive, how dedicated he was to protecting his son. Like he really was he was another victim here, as was Alex, obviously, but Andre was also a victim. And God, could you imagine, like, you get to the end of this and you realize, like, oh, the police could have solved this right away.
Mm-hmm.
You have suffered and you've put your kid through that questioning and you have moved and you have worried and probably looked over your shoulder. Like, I would be so irate. I would be so irate.
I know. But I don't know. What can you do, though? I mean, that's the other part of it too. Like, yes, you're absolutely right. You have the right to be extremely angry, and I think that's why the father is who he is that I think that he doesn't dwell on it.
Yeah, I agree. So we're talking today, guys, about the Murder of Rachel Nickell. It just came on Netflix. By the time you guys hear this, it'll be a couple days ago, June 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I'm just going to jump in and then we could chit chat at the end about what we think. So, June 16th, 1993. This is how it opens. We see a home movie of Alex asking his daddy to help him draw a picture of his mommy. And then we see Andre, dad, kind of asking him, like, well, when you saw the bad man, was he in front of you? Was he on the side? Like, he's starting to ask this kid questions. I kind of knew the premise of the documentary going in. Again, an hour and a half. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. And he's asking him questions. Did mommy see him? And Alex is like, I don't think she did. I saw him first. It's just so heartbreaking to see a little child answering questions like this and reliving those memories.
Yeah. No, it was hard.
He pulled out, Alex tells Andre that the bad man pulled out a knife and he kept sticking it in mommy. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So Andre tells us, my son saw his mother's murder, but we had no idea how long it would take to find the person who did this. There's also a scripted series that accompanies this. I know you probably didn't see the series, but did you see it show up on Netflix? It's called The Witness.
Oh, no, I didn't get any of that. Okay.
So they did like a 3-episode scripted version.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch it yet, but I think I might. It should be interesting. Andre Hanscom is the voice of this documentary, and he says Rachel and Alex were a unit. She loved him. Rachel was like sunshine. She just enjoyed the people in her life. She enjoyed the simple things in life. She was he was a dispatch rider. I don't know what that means. A dispatch rider.
I think I thought maybe that was a delivery driver.
Oh, maybe. He was gone quite a bit because of his thing. And he says, the last time I saw them, Rachel and Alex, they came downstairs to say goodbye to me as I was getting my bike ready to go to work. And that's it. July 15th, 1992. So this is a year earlier than the little questioning scene that we saw at the beginning. 10:15 a.m. Alex and Rachel are visiting Wimbledon Common, a safe place where they could go outside. Alex could run around. Do you remember that? Like, did you see that with your son where you just took them out to run them like dogs? Like, just go out and run in the park and then we'll just go home and you'll pass out.
Yeah. I mean, I think my parents probably did that more with me than I probably did it with my own kid. But yeah. I mean, there is a little boy that age. Yeah, there's a lot of like very physical stuff, and they want to dig around and look at lizards and other things. So
worms. My kids used to love to dig for worms. I don't know what that was about. I'm like, how did you come out of me? Because I won't go near a worm. So that day, Andre was in London, and he said he would call. There was no cell phone, so he would call the house a few times to check in during the day. But one time he tries, and a man answers, and I can't even imagine. Like your heart just has to drop because he says, "I knew immediately something was wrong. Like, why is a police officer answering my home phone?"
Yeah.
And he says there's been an accident, and Andre said, "I said immediately, is Rachel still alive?" And he said no. Ron Turnbull is one of the detectives, and he says he found Rachel on the ground, stabbed 49 times, neck and chest, and she was laying Tess like on the ground with her hands in front of her, almost like to try to protect her, like defensive position. And they found Alex clinging to her.
No,
that's heartbreaking.
It is.
You know what? When you think about this crime in its totality, that kid is lucky to have survived.
Yes. How he survived, I don't know. I mean, right? Like that's the part that just knowing, we learn a little bit later. At first I was like, oh, well, not that this serial killer has morals, but I wonder if a little bit of like, this isn't my thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
No. Alex was a little scratched up, and Andre says he was changed somehow. He looked like an old person in his eyes.
Yeah.
I could just listen to that dad talk. Like, he just had a way of phrasing things that was made them sound very important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he never again asked where his mother was. And Alex was two years old. Eve Richings is a local reporter, and she says Wimbledon was very affluent and very beautiful, and the park was huge. It was 1,100 acres, really safe.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is, as Paul Penrose tells us, he's one of the investigators, he's like, that is a huge area to search.
Mm-hmm.
And that was working against us. Like, they had 40 officers combing the park, but it's 1,100 acres. That's a lot. He says when he came upon Rachel's body, it was evident that she had suffered. Her clothing was ripped and she had been sexually assaulted. So we learned that they met, Andre and Rachel, in university, and, you know, she was really into getting a good job and was like 19. He was 25.
Yeah.
So there was quite the age difference between them. But, you know, she decided, like, okay, let's give this a whirl. Let's try getting together. She gets pregnant. He's like, you know, I'll do this with you. Let's do life. So I don't think they were married, but they were doing life together.
Yes.
Andre goes back to the flat, grabs some of Alex's things, and they never went back. I could see that. I don't know if I could ever go back.
Yeah, no.
The investigation and the public focus. So I'm really interested in your thoughts on this as a therapist. I know that you're not a child psychologist, but
yes.
just your opinion, I should say, is they really try to get out of this kid.
Yes.
What he remembered. And Andre was really like, he's like, okay, I'll go along with it because you're the quote professionals. But like, that kid reacted badly. Like, he was kind of in crisis and shutting down as these people were pressuring him. Was this a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's always 2020. I mean, I think we see a lot of like the child psychologists that they interview. Like, she was unsure if any of this, like this, she's trained in this, and she was like, I don't know about any of this. And I think this is a good example of sort of like when you get a bunch of professionals together, and because I felt for that child psychologist, because I think there is that piece of like, you're getting all this pressure. We have to solve this. This is important.
We have to catch the killer.
We have to catch the killer. The boy's not safe until the killer is caught. Like, you know, you feel all this pressure, but you don't have any other ways of doing it. And so, okay, let's pick, this works for kids this age, or this works for this situation. So let's try this. And I mean, you know, they're very lucky that Alex is lucky that he had a father that really was very together. And I'm sure that it sounds like the father has regrets. I think he feels like I should have stood up more and said, no, no. And I think that's the other part that's really hard about these situations, is that, you know, it's like, yes, you need to capture this person, but this little boy went through this really hard thing. Like, where are we going to put our interest in? And do you sacrifice the boy for the general good of the
right? And then you're kind of public? Like, but you're also grieving.
Yes.
Right. So like, there's that complication on top of everything else. So like, yes, I agree with you. He was very lucky to have Andre, who was steady, it sounds like, and, you know, held his ground, but also was able to keep it together. Like, I don't know if I could have, you know, if my kids were 2 and Timmy was brutally murdered, I don't know if I'd be able to like keep it together to have the wherewithal to protect them. And I mean, I guess some of it is instinct. Yeah. But I think I'd be falling apart a little bit.
Yeah, but I think that you would still figure out how to protect your kids. I mean, I think instinct's always there.
Yeah.
And the reality is that we don't, you know, I don't know. None of us really know what he experienced. I think that's the part that's really hard, is that, you know, they're basing this, and he's so young.
So young.
That's the other part of it too, is that I'm amazed they got as much out of him as they did.
This reminds me of, did you watch the Elizabeth Smart documentary, The Kidnapping of Elizabeth Smart, how her sister remembered? That was incredible to me. But
many months later,
older.
Yeah.
But she was still young, right?
Yeah, no. She did. And the thing was that it wasn't, again, I think the way in which they were trying to approach Alex was better than what we've seen in the past, which is like, someone standing over you going, "What did you see? What did you see?" I think that's what they were doing to poor Elizabeth Smart's sister.
Yeah.
And I think we see with that one where if you leave the kid alone and kind of wait for things to naturally occur, that something will come out. But
the human brain is so fascinating, isn't it? How like memory can live in there for years and months and then just come out. It's fascinating to me.
Well, and also I'm always fascinated by how my sister has very different versions of events that I was at too. And I was like, no, I don't remember that at all. Or
perspective taking.
This was my memory of it, or this is my perception of it. And so that's the other part that's really hard is that when you're distressed, you can't think straight. And so you really have to wait for someone's nervous system to even out again. And then, which is what happened with Elizabeth Smart's sister.
Yeah, that's a good point. Alex does give them some description of the bad man. And what he says is he's a younger white man. He's wearing a white shirt, blue pants, tan shoes. And he was wearing, they said it's almost like a butcher's apron.
I didn't understand that at all. I'm like, he's wearing a belt like in the middle of his waist, but not in the, and so then I expected him to have an apron on. I was like, wait a minute. He just got like a belt.
I think the belt was where the apron, you're right. I have it wrong. I think the belt was where like a butcher's apron would sit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Got it. And that's what was holding up the apron, the belt, but not his pants.
I don't know.
But then you don't take the belt off before you leave.
I can't get into belts and aprons with you. I don't know. All I know is this guy was like pretty much nondescript. Like that could be they're in South London, for Christ's sake. Like this could be anybody. You know what I mean? So they decide they're going to consult a criminal profiler, and they're like, "Hey, it worked in Silence of the Lambs. Let's do this." They literally say that, guys.
Yes.
So Robert Ressler is an American. He's a retired FBI agent. He's one of them. And he says this guy is disorganized, frenzied, possibly mentally disordered individual. And that's just off the top of my head. They bring in Paul Britton, Britton, for a full analysis. And this is about 3 to 4 weeks after the crime scene, or after the murder. He first goes to the crime scene and he says, this is a guy who's a criminal who waits for an opportunity, and this wasn't personal. And he probably felt like an anger towards women, sort of like, oh, that bitch thinks she's better than me, like that hatred towards women. And he says the child then becomes a bargaining tool. And what he says was so sad. He's like, Rachel probably made the decision to sacrifice herself to save her kid. Like, even if it wasn't explicit, it was implicit. You know what I mean? And that's what she did, as most parents would do. Alex starts getting annoyed with the questions now, and his memory is fading. And this little kid literally goes, I'm fed up. Like, me too, Alex.
He was a very, very cute kid, and really,
oh my God, very
really
cute.
Smart. Really, I am fed up. I am done with this. Like,
the police, in one last Hail Mary, decide to take this kid to the crime scene. I mean, I have a degree in creative writing, and I can tell you this is a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I mean, this is, and again, I feel for the dad in these situations. I know. It's a little bit like, what do you do? What?
I know. They're going to see if it triggers more memories, which I don't think at its, like, the premise is not flawed, but like, you need to wait 2 years to do this. You can't do this right now. You need to bring this kid back when, like you said, when the trauma settles, when the, you know what I mean? And, and then see if it maybe, because we see this all the time. We just saw this with the Green Mountain Killer, whatever, the father, where the daughter was like going out to these scenes to see if she could remember anything. We do see it, but there needs to be some time. This was too traumatic to do it right away.
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't know why you have to keep coming back to the well of this child. It feels a little bit like you guys were running out of ideas over here, so you keep going back to the kid. It was like, can you give us a laundry list of the things that you were doing on your end?
Yes. Yeah. I want to know, like, what did you collect from the park? What did you get from the body? You know what I mean? Stuff like this. And at one point they do get something from her, but it's a DNA, like it's DNA that doesn't match anything, or they don't find a match for it. So when they do get to this crime scene though, Alex has a meltdown and Andre's like, that's it. We're done. It's over. Then the police are like, okay, we're going to start appealing to the public. So they release a sketch and a profile. They think this guy's probably under 30, lives locally, maybe does martial arts. Where is that coming from? That was so random. Like, I expected to hear, like, also appreciates the Bee Gees. Like, where are you getting this martial arts thing? Loves pornography. Well, maybe because of the sex crime. Yeah. And is a loner.
Yeah. No, again. That's the other thing too, is how much are we paying this guy? Like, how much did you guys pay these guys, and you flew them over and all this stuff? Like, okay,
probably a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have told you all that. Just FYI.
Oh, here I went back in my notes. Here they do, when they start investigating, they do collect samples and send them off for DNA analysis, but it comes back nothing. So nothing there's no match, and there's not really a good database this is pre-CODIS.
Yes. So this is 92. What was the different? Yeah. I mean, we didn't really have cell phones, or the cell phones that we did have were car phones. Yeah. It was a different time.
So their number one suspect in all of this is a guy named Colin Stagg. And calls came in saying this guy's suspicious. He's been admitting that he's been on the Common at the same time. We had an eyewitness who claims to have ID'd him going towards the park. So not near the scene, but going into the park. He lived nearby, and they go to his flat, and in his flat they find pentagrams. It's a real devil worshipy vibe inside.
Yeah.
And they find knives, they find survival stuff, and he does admit that he was sunbathing nude on the Common. So what do? They charge him with indecent exposure because that's all they can do, and they don't really have any other suspects. And at this point, Andre takes Alex and they go to France.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out of here. And they find this beautiful small village in France where they set up this life for themselves. And then they get a call from a woman, the police do, who had seen Colin Stagg on the TV and realized that this is a guy she's been writing to in the Lonely Hearts Club. I imagine, Tess, that there's a lot of shenanigans that happen in this Lonely Hearts Club. Could you imagine?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't consider myself to be like a writer. So it's the idea of having to write letters back and forth with these people. Like, oh God, this sounds exhausting to me. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole subset of people that.
If you're a Gen Zer or a millennial and have somehow stumbled upon this podcast, this is how we used to do things. We used to write letters to each other.
Yes. Before you could write these long text messages back and forth.
I saw the other day, I was at the grocery store and I saw this person in this car, and on the back windshield, they had all these cardboard signs posted that said like, I bought this car at blah, 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 and it's a lemon. Beware of them. And I was like, that's how we used to handle things.
Yes, it's true.
We just put signs all over ourselves. Yeah. So, all right. She says, listen, this guy's been weird. He wrote this letter. It was really graphic, really disturbing. These letters are passed on to the police, and they decide that they're going to go undercover. They're going to take, for some reason, it had to be a female, even though we're writing letters. We had to take a female agent and put them undercover to try to see if the killer if this Colin Stagg is the killer, if they would sort of slip up and say something that only the killer would have known about the crime. The undercover police officer wrote to Stagg as Lizzie James and tried to coax Stagg into revealing his sexual fantasies. And they start writing some real dark shit back and forth. And then they're like, oh, okay, this feels like a waste of time. Like, this isn't really, this guy's probably just jerking off on the other end of this. Like, nothing's really happening here to move this along. Meanwhile, in France, Alex is starting to volunteer information. And this was the opening scene that we saw where he's starting to have a little bit of memory. And Andre knows enough to record this.
Yeah.
See, maybe you're right. Like maybe getting the kid in a safe environment and just calmed down, and then it would start eventually to slowly come
Well,
out.
and that's all the research that's been done about eyewitness statements. And, again, when we are distressed, it changes how we perceive things. That's why there are so many false IDs. That's why there are false confessions. There's false everything, because when we are flooded, when our nervous systems are out of whack, like, we're not thinking, we're thinking survival. That's it. Surviving, living, surviving, so getting and doing and being whatever we need to be. So we're not taking things in. Yeah,
you're right. And that's how they get coerced confessions out of these kids, because they scare them. We saw that in the yogurt shop too, yogurt shop murders. Like they scare them, and the kids are like, they start to question their own sanity. Like they don't know what's real. It's really terrible. A few weeks later, they're charging Colin Stagg with Rachel's murder. They're like, fuck this, we're just going to charge him and see what we can do here. This is 13 months after the murder. It's August 1993. What happened is, in those letters, he had written about his desire to have sex in Wimbledon Commons in an open woodland involving the use of knives where blood is caused to flow. Oh, okay, Colin. I mean, so you are kind of confessing to this.
Yeah, I just want to say that, like, I don't blame them for feeling a little bit like, I think we found our guy.
I agree. I don't blame them at all for thinking Colin Stagg is the guy. What I blame them for is not following up on the other guy.
Yeah.
Like this, like if you didn't have information about that other guy and you just looked at Colin Stagg, you would be like, yeah, he's probably the one. 3 months later, on November 6, 1993, a 4-year-old girl and her mother are killed in Southeast London. Samantha and Jasmine Bissett are their names. And Mickey Banks was the responding detective. And he says, this is one of the most brutal cases I have ever seen. They were killed in their flat. Samantha was a single mom. She was mutilated, and the little girl was sexually assaulted. Like, it's the darkest of dark.
Yes.
There were some fingerprints, but all of them. So at this time, right, they have to manually look at the fingerprints and compare. And all of them seem to be ruled out of being a third party. They believed all of the initial fingerprints belonged to Sam and Jasmine. They didn't find DNA. They didn't find anything. So this was bizarre to them. They bring Paul Britton in again for this one. And this, Paul Britton says, look, you don't work up to this level of violence. Like you don't, or you do work up to it. I'm sorry. You don't just come in entry level serial killer and start mutilating people.
Yeah.
Like this, very much like Rex Uerman. Like you have to develop this over time
and get better and better at it.
Oh, God, that guy.
Oh,
did you see the new episode for the house? And now the wife is sleeping in the basement in the kill room.
Oh my God. I mean, just the house alone scares the crap out of me. Like, I don't understand how, and we had someone on our street growing up that had a house like that too. And I just remember no one went to the place of murderer. Everyone was just like, you're reducing our property values,
Right. Like, well, we used to have them too. Like back in Gen X days, we called them like, oh, the crazy cat lady.
And you just avoided that house.
You avoided it. That's all. Yep.
And the person in it. You did not go trick-or-treating there. You just avoided it. But, you just assume bad things aren't happening. But that house,
and let me tell you something. The whole, like, she now finally is saying at least that she knows he killed all these people. But you can tell she kind of doesn't believe it still. And then at the end, she's like, and I'm sleeping in the kill room every night. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that's an episode you guys should watch and look at through your therapist lens, because it's on Peacock. Okay, so they, like I said, they think this guy's very violent and has probably been at this for a long time. So they start to wonder, Tess, could these two murders be connected? But two senior investigators are like, I don't think so. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what made them think no.
Well, I do understand the one part where, right, because one was out. I can understand the connection to Colin, because Colin's talking about wanting to kill women outside.
Yes.
And that this guy the murder of the Bissetts, that was in someone's home. And I can understand them being like, oh, this isn't the MO. But I think, again, that's how you get so locked into things.
Because they had the confirmation bias of this is Colin.
And also
confirmation bias. I think I used that wrong. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think you did.
They have I don't know. Yeah.
A bias. Yeah. It's a
bias. Yeah.
So oh God, what was I talking about? See, this is what happens when you get to be middle-aged. You're like, what point was I about to make?
You were saying that you understand how they thought it could be.
Yes, because they got very attached to this idea that Colin, that the murderer was someone whose kink or fantasy or desire or their thing was to murder women outside.
Yes.
And so they got so stuck in that. And it's like, no, yes, they're two different locations. I think that's why those old timers were like, no, they don't relate.
You're right. But again, it's predicated on the fact that you're thinking Colin Stagg is the guy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I do
wonder, like, take him out of the equation and look at just the evidence. It's two young women alone with their children in the same area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And the women look a lot alike.
Yeah. And same,
like the young blonde women. They both were young blondes, right? Yeah. I mean,
so this new team is like, we think you have the wrong person in jail. And you know, the Rachel Nickell guys are like, nope, we don't. Colin Stagg is it. The police want Alex to testify against Colin Stagg. And Andre's like, I don't think so.
Yeah. This is where you got to put your foot down. Like, no. And they never let kids testify and face the guy. I mean,
I know. No. And what is he, like 4 at this point? You're going to put fucking 4-year-old on the stand?
No.
Meanwhile, Mickey Banks, just not giving up on this, decides to re-examine the fingerprints, which I thought was really smart. And they find fingerprints in the Bissett apartment that belonged to a man named Robert Napper. He lived locally, had a very long criminal history. He was mentally ill, talked about himself in third person. They search his flat and they find a red toolbox. They find knives. They find a book on strangulation, book of maps, symbols he's drawn. I mean, this guy, he might as well have opened the door wearing a shirt that says, I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm the murderer.
Yeah.
And another sad part about the Bissetts is that Samantha was an only child.
Yes.
And then she only had a child. So it was like the grandmother was so devastated because her daughter and her grandchild were gone.
Yeah. I mean, that one, I was like, that is so heartbreaking. How do you move forward?
I don't know. I don't know how that happens. So on this map, they are searching, like, because this guy's drawn like all sorts of symbols and they're trying to find out, like, does anything tie it to Wimbledon Commons? And it kind of does. There's like a patch nearby, but not enough to not enough to be like, this is definitely it. In the meantime, Colin Stagg is released because a judge rules that he was entrapped and the sting was questionable at best.
Yeah. And I agree with the judge. I mean, I thought this whole thing was really, again, just because these are his fantasies, you can't, you can't assume that this is right. Like, anyway.
And the cops at this point are pretty much like, well, I guess that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing, like, what? Okay. And this is always, and I know we get frustrated as true crime fans when we're like, okay, this person clearly did it. Why are they not arresting them? But like, you see it in cases like this. If you arrest somebody and the evidence is tenuous and you let them go, a lot of times you can't rearrest them. Like, it's tough. You have to have enough to support it.
Yeah. Well, and also it's just the man hours and what it takes and the back and forth. I mean, it's not a good look.
No,
it's not a good look at all.
Andre does say at one point, like, we wondered if we were treated in a different way because I was a young man of color and Rachel was a white woman. And we lost faith in the system, he says. And I totally get that.
Yeah, I believe it.
We meet Alex. He's a real cutie. I mean,
He
he's
is
so much
very
older now. He's
sweet. Yeah.
adorable. He says, my father and I really didn't talk about the past, but I felt angry that this happened. And no matter what I did, I couldn't stop it. He says, when you witness, this is interesting. When you witness something like this as a child, the illusion that your parents can protect you is shattered.
Yeah.
I was
That
like,
was
ooh, that sent
heartbreaking.
chills down my spine. Yeah.
Because he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, and that's the part. I go through this with clients all the time. It's like, no, I can't, you can do all these things to protect yourself. You can do everything, quote unquote, right. You can do this, you can do that. And bad things still will happen. And that is really hard for many people to wrap their brains around, the idea that I don't have as much control as I think I do. So then I just need to go about my life. Okay.
And I can't imagine what it does. We talk about attachment styles and and all of that. I can't imagine what it does to you when at 2 and 3 years old, you realize that you have to live in fear, that nobody can protect you. That's gotta be what a hefty, burden to carry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it causes a lot of tension. And, Alex says, I didn't have respect and trust in my father. And we had a lot of conflict in my teenage years. And Andre says, yeah, I felt guilty that I didn't protect my family. My heart just broke for them. All right. 10 years later, 2002, not 2022, yes. 2002. Rachel Nickell's case is getting cold. It's cold. And Dr. Angela Gallup is a forensic scientist asked to look at this case. It's always the women. Bring them in. She goes back to the taping. So they did these tapings where they were lifting to try to get DNA. That's what that was the procedure at the time. And she says that's the first thing we did. We went back to the DNA, back to the tapings to retest everything. They find Rachel's DNA and a hint of male DNA. And with that, they rule out Colin Stagg.
Yep.
With that, they rule in Robert Napper.
Yes.
All right. So he's already in jail for something else. And Andre says, thank God that Alex survived. This could have been so much worse. Like it could have, the same fate that befell Jasmine could have happened to Alex.
Yeah.
And I wonder sometimes, Tess, and this is really dark, but I'm going to say it. I wonder if it would have been different if Alex were a daughter.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
It might have been different.
Now we actually meet Colin Stagg. How did you feel about this?
Yeah, that was like, whoa. Oh, hello, you're here. I mean, first I was a little bit like when we see Alex, we're like, oh, this is Alex. You just don't think I was going to meet him. And then, oh, Colin, you got Colin too.
Yeah, it was wild. So the police hold, first, let me just say what Colin says. Colin says that they knocked on his door, ping, 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 and they were like, hey, you know what? We got somebody else. And you're off the hook. You know what? I'm wondering if I have this wrong. I'm wondering if it was 2022 when this happened. No, because it did say 10 years later.
I don't know. I can't remember the order of things.
It did say 10 years later, which would be 2002.
Because the Bissett murders were after Rachel Nickell.
Yeah.
But then they did, but there was something else that happened before Rachel's that they knew that if they had communicated and caught him, then Rachel's wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I'll get there.
Okay. We haven't gotten there yet. Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet. No, that's okay. Colin's like, this destroyed my life. Like everywhere I went, I was hated. I was threatened. This destroyed my life.
Yeah.
Okay, Colin. I understand that. And I really feel for you. I really do. But maybe don't go around telling people that you want to have sex with women in open fields at knife point with blood all over you. Because it's just going to kind of rule you in here as a suspect.
Yeah. I mean, I guess his defense was, I thought I was communicating with someone. I thought this was me trading fantasies with this woman. And I was saying crazy stuff to get her to, maybe think about, I mean, again, I don't know why saying to a woman, my fantasy is to take a woman into the woods and stab her. I don't know why you think that's going to turn her on.
He did himself no favors.
Yeah. I mean, it's just bad all around, but yeah, he did himself no favors. But again, it was just talk. They had nothing else to back it up except for that. And he wasn't trapped. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. The police hold a press conference and properly exonerate him and apologize. And, I was recording Tiger King with Becca this morning, and she said, I feel like 2026 police departments do a lot of apologizing for 80s and 90s police departments. I'm like, yeah. I think that's
I'm sure they
right.
do. Yeah.
Alex and Andre go to the trial of Robert Napper, and they meet with the cops first, and they show him like a dossier. And when they're showing him this dossier is when Andre realizes, oh, they fucked this up. This was a problem. So now we learn that 3 years before Rachel's murder, a serial rapist was attacking women on the Green Chain Walkway in South London, and they were able to get DNA. 2 people called in and said, look, this police sketch looks just like this guy, Robert Napper. So they go, again, they don't have a DNA database. So it's not like they knew it was him, but they did get DNA, and we put a pin in that because that's what they match later. But 2 cops go to this guy's house. Again, 2 independent people are calling in saying, this guy, we think this is the guy. They go to his house to question him, not to arrest him or bring him down the station for questioning, but they go there to be like, hey, can you do us a favor? Can you swing by the police department tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
And maybe give some blood samples and come in for questioning. And he's like, oh, sure. I'll see you at 9. And he shuts the door. He never shows up. They go to his apartment. He's completely gone. He ran away. And the cops say, well, he was a little too tall anyway. I don't think that was him. And they exclude him. And I was like, what? Wow. Okay. They never follow. Like, why would this guy run? Seriously?
Yeah.
Even before that, Tess, before the call-ins from the tip line, the posters, his mother called. And she was like, my son confessed to raping someone. Nobody followed up.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He's found guilty in his trial. He confessed. And Andre says at the end, look, my mission in all of this was to bring Rachel and my child through this in the best way possible. And that is where we end. And I do have a little Where Are They Now, if you're interested.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I mean, this was just filmed, so it's not like they're, gone far.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what this means. But Andre has, since this all happened, Andre has turned to Catholicism.
Okay.
Maybe just for like support, comfort. Okay. But I thought this was interesting about Alex. The Witness, so the scripted series, is also based on Alex's 2017 memoir, Letting Go, A True Story of Murder, Loss, and Survival by Rachel Nickell's son. Wow. Which delved into how Alex, who's now 36, grappled with his grief in the aftermath of his mother's murder. Along with the hard times, there has been joy, he told The Times in 2026. We both, as my mother did, find the joy in small things, he's talking about his father, in sunsets and sunrises, and in cooking together and food. Alex has become a certified hypnotherapist and musician, studied yoga and graphology, and now lives in Barcelona. And he says, my parents believed in the infinity of the spirit, that my mother would be with me always wherever I went.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, that's really nice. And, I do think there's an element of, and I think we saw this with Andre when he was grappling, like, do I press this kid and push my kid to see if I could get justice for Rachel and solve her murder versus what would Rachel want me to do in this situation? And I think that's kind of what won out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's always, if I was his therapist and he asked me, I would encourage him, you got to do what you believe that Rachel would want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was saving his kid to the best of his ability.
we know that if this went down in America, there would be a million civil suits. Bing, 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 popping all up.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to happen here. Like they didn't mention it. I couldn't find it. If Andre wanted it. Like, I don't know if they necessarily would have a case, but you would think you would just be so angry that you would want something. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible they talk to a lawyer and, to find out, do you have a case or not? I mean, that's the thing. It seems pretty egregious what we're hearing, but it is possible that like, no, this happened, that happened, they did this, they did that. I mean, all it really takes is as long as someone said, oh, I followed up with so-and-so, they didn't call me back, or, that's always the big thing with, what I learned in grad school, which document. You just want to document everything so that you don't get, it doesn't come back at you. So
unless you're in Manitowoc County making a murder, and then you document nothing. You only document things 20 years later when you're asked. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
No, I agree with you. And I do cut police of this time period a lot of slack because they didn't have technology to help solve things.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like, good, we often say in this country, like, good old fashioned detective work often relies on eyewitnesses, stuff like that, stuff that has since been proven less credible than DNA technology, genealogy, stuff like that. Well, so like, I get it, mistakes can happen, but this is somebody should have followed up with the guy who fled the state essentially after you asked him to come down for an interview.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few people that mentioned him,
and his mom's calling. Trust mothers.
Yeah. If his mom's calling, I really feel like he did it. I don't think the mom is just angry at him. Yeah. It is. It's hard, and I think the other thing too is that a lot of those policemen and at the time, police people. They were collecting DNA knowing that like, there's nothing we can do with it right now. We believe that some in the future. So that's the other part of it too, is I do see, things are getting solved now, and it's, they're getting solved now because they were smart enough 30 years ago to collect the DNA so that now we can test it. So that's
absolutely,
the other part of
that's what happened in the yogurt shop. They collected the evidence under Amy Byers' fingernails. And they were able to, they pretty much knew it was this Robert Brasher's guy, but like they were able to draw that connection from the DNA under her fingernails.
Yeah. So
and they collected it and didn't know what they were going to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, and so you got to give people credit that all of these people that were smart enough to collect. And things just get better and better and smarter and smarter. And not everyone has a cell phone. That's the other part of it too. These phones, I don't know how anyone can get away with anything today. I don't know how you ever get away with anything.
State. We live in a surveillance state. Like, to every show that we watch that has a murder remotely involved in, I'm always like, there's got to be a camera somewhere. Where's the camera? It's got to pick it up. Yeah. And it's sad to say this, but as women, that feels safer to me. But I can.
There are cameras everywhere.
Yeah, but there's also the Gen X core of me that's like, stop watching me. I don't want to be involved in this. But that is, an example of like, imagine if the body cam was on those cops who went to see Robert Napper and he's acting all sketchy and he won't come in. They would have him. And I was thinking to myself this whole time when he was emerging as a suspect, or Colin Stagg, why not show a picture of Colin Stagg to Alex and say, does this look like the guy? It's unclear if they ever did that. Like, instead of, you know what I mean? Once they honed in on him, ask Alex if that looks like him.
Yeah, but I think but they would have to give him like a 6-pack, right? They would have to give him other people. So, and maybe they did, and they couldn't get a positive ID one way or the other.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But Colin, and what's the real murderer's name?
Robert Napper.
They do look alike. I mean, that's the other thing. That was the other thing. Colin, again, ran into some real problems. He looked a lot like the guy. He was very quirky, and he wrote some creepy things. And then, all it took was just to, this female officer to praise him in some shape. I don't know what she said to him to get him to write her back. I'm not excusing what he said. I'm just saying that.
No, I gotcha.
He had a lot of things working against him.
And he didn't help himself.
And he didn't help himself.
Yeah. All right, Tess, tell everyone where they could find you if they don't know already. You've been here several times. We always love having you back. Thank you.
Yes. So I actually have a couple podcasts. The first one I do with my sister called Psych Legal Pop, where we talk about popular culture. I talk about it through the lens of being a therapist. She's an attorney. We cover Sister Wives. We're doing our Sister Wives Rewind.
What season are you guys on?
We're in season 10. Baby sister was just born. And
baby sister. Okay.
Oh my God. If that episode of Robin giving birth to baby sister, Cody is beyond annoying. All he does the whole time is tell her to breathe. Yeah. I mean, you just want to punch him.
We're in season 6, and I think that is peak Sister Wives. Season 6 is the commitment ceremony.
Oh, yes. That's
it's
all
everything. Yes. 10 is really good though too, because it's the catfishing, right?
Yeah, it's the other half of the catfishing, and then the baby sister, and going to Hawaii, and then we're moving on to in a few weeks we'll move on to season 11, which is the weddings. So it's very exciting. We're also covering Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which is a great show. I don't know why more people aren't on it, but we cover lots of different stuff. We have a Patreon if you want to go check that out. I also do another show called The Jen Mess with Tess. Amye has been on it, where I talk to just interesting people. Usually I talked to a therapist this morning, therapists and other clinicians, and I'm talking to business people that are doing interesting like apps for fertility. And I spoke to recently, he runs this educational department for counseling psychologists. He's really, it's about Black communities and how do we help the Black communities accept therapy and bring therapy into it. So we're having lots of exciting conversations about how do we change the world? So I talk about the generations in the show, but it's really about interesting things happening with people.
Okay.
So you can check it out there.
And our little Becca was over with you not too long ago.
Yes, Becca was on. She did an episode of Rhode Island, and then she came on our Patreon and was kind enough to do The Crash. Which
fun.
is a doozy of a show too. Ooh. Like talk about, being able to in real time,
Wow. That documentary, like, it lives rent free in my head.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen the parents? The dad, you cannot get the dad off social media. You're like, you need, and then apparently he got like suspended. It's like, this is not a good use of your time. Now that you don't have a job.
I don't know about you, but as a parent, the minute he was like, oh yeah, the school's called me, she did something wrong, and I just went in and she said, Dad, I didn't do it. And I was like, okay, good enough for me. We're out of here. I was like, oh, I know exactly what kind of parent you are. I know exactly. You're the one who my kid never does anything wrong. And this is the result.
Yeah, no, someone asked me, like, what is it about? And I said, it's about what happens when parents don't parent. It happens, when you don't give your kid any consequences, when someone doesn't experience. And unfortunately, whether you like, forgotten her name already. What's
Mackenzie?
Mackenzie. And whether you like Mackenzie or not, the reality is that she's now sitting in prison because her parents did not parent her, and again, she needs to take the consequences, but in many ways she was really set up for failure. She was set up to end up here.
Yes.
And that
100%.
And that's the part that I think is really hard to stomach, is the parents are just like, oh, yeah, I don't know,
Yep. And they're just doubling down on the justice system failed you. This was, it's like, wow. Okay. All right.
Well, and the dad's getting defensive about having that boom shirt on. He's like, well, I wanted to wear the shirt because this person produced the shirt. And then and he's so defensive and rude. It's like, we don't all know the backstory. All we see is the boom shirt. Like, you can't, so that was the other part of, like, they won't take responsibility for themselves.
No,
they can't take responsibility for themselves.
At all.
So I'm like, oh, well,
not at all.
Anyway.
You're absolutely right. And I loved your coverage of that. It was really interesting listening to like somebody who, works in mental health talk about that. That was really good. All right, my friend.
Right,
We've said it all. We've said it all.
All. Yeah.
Thank you for coming over, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys, I will put the link to both of Tess's podcasts in the show notes. Please give her a visit. And thank you for supporting Murder She Watch. If you want bonus content, we're doing Making a Murder. We're doing Tiger King. We've done The Staircase. We've done the Murdochs. We've done it all. Tess and I did the Jinx.
Yes, we did.
When. And Tess literally had to look at me and say, do you really find these scumbags attractive? Like, tell me what is happening. So all of that is behind the paywall. It's only $8 a month. You get all that content and help support the show. All right. Thank you very much. And we will see you next time.